I'm very delighted to stand in these hallowed chambers of the 10th House of Assembly of our dear state, Imo, to present the 2024 budget proposals. This indeed is a significant moment in our history, and all thanks to Almighty God. It is significant in the sense that we are commencing the fiscal transition from one administration to another with the same captain. It is all to the glory of God. So I stand in these hallowed chambers today, and as I do so, with a deep sense of history unfolding, the budget proposal is for the first fiscal year of the first year of my second tenure in office as the democratically elected governor of Imo State. This is unique indeed. The 10th Assembly that will consider the budget for approval is also a brand new assembly of vibrant and committed legislators elected by our people to pilot the affairs of the legislature for the next 4 years. This is also very remarkable. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, it is therefore with great pleasure, in furtherance of my constitutional responsibilities as the governor of Imo State, that I'm here today to place before you the draft proposals of the 2024 budget. In the last 4 years, my administration has worked relentlessly to address the myriads of challenges that we met on the ground when I assumed office as the governor of Imo State on January 15, 2020. The challenges were enormous and cut across virtually all sectors, from dilapidated infrastructure to frightening youth unemployment, from decayed education to a failed health system, and from a crippled civil service to a public sector that was swimming in corruption. The state of affairs was enough to daunt even the bravest and strongest of men. But our strength lies neither in bravery nor courage, but rather in a well-grounded vision and mission. And by the grace of God, we are determined to address all the challenges. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm glad to report to you that in the last 4 years, through our now famous 3R mantra of rehabilitation, reconstruction, and recovery, we've been able to tackle and reasonably arrest these challenges. Pointers to this can be found in our famed and very successful programs of infrastructure revolution, massive human capital development, the total rejuvenation and automation of the public service, which has drastically reduced public service corruption, and other laudable interventions in the health, education, and social services sectors. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House, with what we have achieved so far, there is no doubt that the last 4 years have been used to lay a solid foundation for the economic growth and development of Imo State. As a result, all macroeconomic indicators clearly show that Imo State is now positioned accelerated growth and development. This is why I have termed the 2024 budget estimates as budget of renewed economic growth. As the caption suggests, the budget is focused on the rapid economic growth of Imo State. Out of a total budget of 592 billion, 200 million, capital expenditure will gulf 82.9% of the total budget, which amounts to a capital expenditure of 491 billion, 200 million, compared to the 373.6 billion budgeted for capital expenditure in 2023. The 2024 budget translates to a 32% increase in capital expenditure. This is a clear indication that we are determined to stimulate and fast-track the economic growth of our dear state. This point becomes clearer when we consider the 2024 budgetary allocation for the current expenditure of 100.99 billion naira, out of which a total of 43.05 billion is provided for overhead expenditure in the 2024 budget. This accounts for less than 10% of the total budget sum. Also compared to the figure of 48.34 billion in 2023. The sharp decrease in the budgetary allocation for overhead expenditure stands as an unequivocal witness of our resolve to cut down on frivolous expenditure to help boost the funding of capital projects in the state. This is a further pointer that this administration is determined to checkmate all forms of leakage or waste of public resources. Prudent and efficient management of public funds is the new norm and cannot be compromised. As always, all capital projects must be subject to due process, routine scrutiny, and audit. All commissioners or heads of MDAs, with their permanent secretaries or directors of finance and administration, will henceforth be required to commit in writing and under oath that the budgetary allocation to their MDAs shall be spent as appropriated. As I've always emphasized, my administration has no room for public sector corruption and graft. To this end, every public or civil servant working for this administration must do all within his or her powers to resist the lure of corruption. The only way we can achieve the goal of advancing our economic growth is by ensuring that every kobo meant for the common good is judiciously applied for that purpose. Let me reiterate that under my watch, the task of ridding Imo State of public sector corruption is one that must be accomplished. It is also noteworthy that the budget is tailored to meet the goals of our 10-year development plan, which identifies the priority sectors and the initiatives that will drive the growth and development of our dear state. Indeed, earlier in the year, I commissioned a team of experts working with the state government to come up with a 10-year development plan for our dear Imo State. I did so because I understand that every prosperous and sustainable economy is built on a carefully articulated vision and plan. In our own case, our development plan is built around the intervention framework of our 3R mantra of rehabilitation, reconstruction, and recovery. Moving forward, I should let you know that priority sectors, industries, and projects that will accelerate the state's economic prosperity have been identified by this plan. The Orash Free Trade Zone and the multiplier businesses therein are among the top sectors identified as having great potentials to stimulate and accelerate the economic growth of the state. The plan also identified how to harness our agricultural potential and mineral resources, and how to align them with the proposed establishment of ceramic industries and agro-processing facilities across the 3 senatorial districts of Imo State. Consequently, therefore, and drawing from the 10-year development plan, emphasis is laid on economic development, human capital development, agriculture, and massive youth empowerment. This explains why we have much of the budgetary expenditure coming under the economic and social sector heads. Review of governance and the 2023 budget. The focus of the government in the preceding year of 2023 was mostly on construction and rebuilding of critical infrastructure, municipal and social services such as roads, bridges, water, electricity, hospitals, schools, and other environmental projects. Number 2, ensuring safety, security, and peace by tackling the hydra-headed problem of insecurity, which hitherto hindered the development of the state. And more importantly and very critical, boosting of our internally generated revenue, IGR. Putting in place structures and facilities for the intensification of the drive for donor assistance, external funding through collaborations and partnerships at both international, national, and subnational levels. Enhancing effective and prudent management of public finances. Enforcement of cost-saving measures with emphasis on value for money in the award of contracts for the construction of roads and other projects. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House, the state government under my watch recorded a number of laudable achievements in the 2023 fiscal year, and among these achievements are the reconstruction of major roads. One of the major priorities of my administration since my assumption of office in 2020 is the construction, rehabilitation, and maintenance of urban and rural roads in the state. Using the limited resources available to the state, we've been able to achieve maximum impact in the areas of constructing not only good, but good quality, durable, and sustainable roads in the 3 senatorial zones of the state. In 2023, we continued to consolidate on previous achievements in road construction. In the process, we recorded additional milestones on road construction. This will further stimulate the realization of our vision to rebuild, reposition, develop, and massively upgrade the road infrastructure in the state. Thus, a total of 63 roads were completed and commissioned in 2023. Details and names of the roads are attached in the budget. But going forward, my administration will continue to focus on the construction and maintenance of both urban and rural roads across the state in the 2024 budget and in the years ahead. My administration will continue to pursue its policy of massive road construction across the state, as well as urban renewal programs in Owerri, Olo, and Okigwe zones. Thus, in 2024, we shall deepen our road and infrastructural development programs. Consequently, the reconstruction and rehabilitation of strategic roads in the Owerri, Olo, and Okigwe zones shall remain our priority. We shall also continue to collaborate with the federal government to complete the dualization of major itinerary roads linking Owerri Capital Territory with other major towns in the region, namely the Owerri, the Olu Road, the Owerri, the Okigwe Road, the Owerri Aba Road, Owerri Umuahia Road, among others. We will continue to make our place accessible and make Owerri equidistant to all the nooks and crannies of the state, being our state capital. As the capital city of Imo State, Owerri will be given special attention. To this end, the original master plan, which was designed over 30-something years ago, will be restored and reviewed to accommodate current realities. In this respect, working with Imo State House of Assembly, arrangements is almost concluded to expand the capital city radius from 15 kilometers to 18 kilometers as the state capital area. This is to ensure that the state capital has sufficient land space to accommodate new innovations and will position it as one of the best models of national capital in the country, if not the world. Furthermore, we shall partner with the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to ensure the rehabilitation and maintenance of all federal roads in the state. We will participate, cooperate with them, and possibly co-fund the maintenance of federal roads in Imo State. We will also pursue and ensure the full development of Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport to realize its full potential as a cargo hub for the Southeast, South-South regions. In a few weeks from now, night operations will resume officially in Owerri Airport, courtesy of Imo State government. We will also commence the development of satellite towns in the 3 senatorial zones of Imo State. Water and the power sector. In line with the 3R agenda of my administration, a lot of improvements and achievements have been recorded in the provision of potable water for Imo people. Recall that in 2020, the entire state was left without any drinking water accessible to the people. This saw the rehabilitation of water schemes across the state. The Owerri Regional Water Scheme at Otamiri has been successfully rehabilitated and is now functional. As we move forward towards 2024, we will do our best to reticulate Owerri Regional Water Scheme to ensure every household in the urban city of Owerri will have access to potable drinking water. In addition, the small town, the rural and urban water corporations will be reorganized and strengthened to be able to provide potable water for at least 70% of households in Imo State during the period under review. Our achievements in the water and power sector include upgrading of the physiochemical and bacteriological laboratories, including equipment of the Otamiri headwork and the provisions of over 100 water schemes in various communities in Imo State. There are also plans to embark on the electrification of some rural areas of the state. In addition to promoting private sector investments in the generation of renewable energy in the state, we will be able to ensure that communities will have access to at least electricity. With the recent amendment of 1999 Constitution as amended, which unbundled electricity from the exclusive legislative list, I will be sending very soon an executive bill to the State House of Assembly, which, when passed into law, will address and provide the energy governance framework solution to the hydra-headed problem of shortage of power in the state. Digital economy. Our desire to make Imo State the subnational digital economy hub of Nigeria remains on course. As you know, Imo State, under my watch, was the first state in the country to establish a ministry for digital economy, innovation, and e-government. Thereafter, we have trained 30,000 youths in different digital skills. We also equipped them with startup tools and seed capital. Many of them have now secured gainful employment within and outside Nigeria, while others have settled into thriving self-employment. Another batch of 40,000 youths is currently undergoing training in our various centers. The target is to ensure that by the end of 2024, we would have trained a total of 300,000 youths in different digital skills. Within the year, we intend to commence preliminary arrangements to establish a digital literacy village in the state. And this village, when established, will serve as a digital skills training hub for the nation and neighboring African countries. Housing and urban development. In our first tenure, we were able to recover and renovate public houses. We also provided new buildings. We built new courthouses. We built an executive council chamber and banquet hall in Government House. The State House of Assembly complex was completely rebuilt. That is where I am seated now speaking to you. On the other hand, the Dan Anyam Stadium, the Ahojok Center, and the State Secretariats were renovated and recovered. In the next 4 years of our second tenure, we shall intensify efforts to provide low, medium, and high-income housing estates in the 3 geopolitical zones in the state. Already, preliminary works has commenced in this direction. Humanitarian affairs, disaster management, and poverty alleviation. Government created the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Development to develop humanitarian policies and provide effective coordination of state, national, and international interventions, ensure strategic formulation and implementation of fair focus to social inclusion of protective programs through effective beneficiary management system, as well as manage payments, address grievances, and improve the dissemination of information of the federal government's social investment programs. Our vision is to have a social protection system that is proactive, that is humane, inclusive, and sustainable for the improvement and general welfare of the people by providing a people-oriented agenda that seeks to reduce poverty in Imo State and to ensure that vulnerable persons build resilience through access to social protection services and programs. Government will continue to carry out activities that will positively impact the vulnerable persons and poor households in the state, including internally displaced persons and residents of areas affected by natural disaster. In addition, we will design viable empowerment and skill acquisition programs for women, for men, and the youths. To this end, the following activities and programs will be undertaken in 2024. We have proposed for the construction of warehouses for storing relief materials in the 3 senatorial zones, monitoring and coordination of all national social investment programs, interventions and other special programs of the federal government to ensure that Imo State benefits fully, identification of more poor households, vulnerable persons for state, federal government empowerment, intervention programs, implementation of the homegrown school feeding programs, which helps to increase not only the standard of education, but also increase school enrollment. Government enterprises and empowerment programs, GEEP, and other federal government programs targeted to benefit market women, traders, farmers. The program is intended to alleviate poverty through trader money, market money, and farmer money. Empower program. Empower program is designed to assist young Nigerians between the ages of 18 to 35 to acquire and develop lifelong skills for becoming change agents in their various communities. This ministry that has been created will help to coordinate and ensure that Imo State benefits optimally from these federal government programs. The conditional cash transfer program. This program supports the eradication of poverty within the state through the provisions of funds to various categories of the poor and vulnerable groups in the society. Land administration, boundary disputes. The state government has a policy to ensure the efficient management judicious administration of land, and provisions of affordable houses. The government has paid traditional rights and unacquired lands, and these lands are for the purpose of providing affordable homes for citizens. The design and redesigning and preparation of the layouts, clearing and cutting away, perimeter survey and opening of roads will soon be undertaken in the following layouts: the 3R residential layouts on Nature Road, Owerri, the Shared Prosperity layout, Port Harcourt Road, the Riverside Oji Amata Estate, Okuku New Community Housing Area, Winners New City, Royal Peace New City, Obazu, Mbieri, and Ekwema GRA, Owerri. However, it is highly regrettable that some unscrupulous elements decided to abuse and violate our land administration process. Following this unbridled encroachment, land grabbing, fraud, and forgery of documents, outright stealing became the new normal in land administration. Happily, this sordid aberration is already being addressed. Let me therefore assure the good people of Imo State through this medium that all the lands illegally acquired or stolen by this inglorious cabal in our land administration system will be recovered. Also, all those involved in these sordid deals, no matter the person or position, shall be made to face the full wrath of the law. Be that as it may, I am pleased to announce that the interstate boundary disputes between our state and neighboring states are at the verge of being resolved. Similarly, some critical intra-boundary issues that have lingered over the years are now at the verge of settlement. The health sector. My government has pursued with great vigor various policies and programs in order to realize improved healthcare delivery for the citizens of the state. To this end, 3 new world-class hospitals were built and equipped with modern equipment in Oru East, in Ohaja Egbema, and Oguta local government areas. Under the State Free Medical Mission, over 7,000 patients were treated free of charge, and more than 1,000 surgeries were performed at 3 different locations of the free medical missions, namely at Imo Specialist Hospital, Owerri, Imo State University Teaching Hospital, Olo, and the new Omuma General Hospital, Oru East. In the AMPA free medical missions of January and October 2023, over 10,000 patients were treated with free surgeries, which included open heart surgery, spinal surgeries, and other neurosurgeries. The social health insurance in the state is expected to pivot and enhance healthcare financing in a great way. The state has a functional health partners forum, which ensures information sharing for effective and efficient utilization of resources and synergies among stakeholders. In primary health care, Imo is now enjoying the Basic Health Care Provision Fund under this administration. A total of 305 primary health centers have been renovated and equipped, 1 center situated in each political ward of the state. The state government also released the necessary counterpart funds, making it possible for Imo State to join other states in the implementation of the Maternal Newborn Child Health Week. The first phase was in May, and the second phase was in October 2023. Imo has now commenced the Community Health Influencers and Promoters Services Program that involves bringing health to the doorsteps of the people. The transport sector. The government has commenced the full transformation of Imo State Transport Company, ITC, by first relocating it to a very serene environment at Arugo layout as its permanent site. The next step is to completely overhaul the company and reposition it as an efficient and reliable mass transit company through a public-private sector engagement. with very proficient, capable, and functional partners. Grants and transparency. I'm glad to report that our administration has continued to show active participation in state fiscal transparency, accountability, and sustainability program of World Bank, SEFTAS. Expectedly, we not only received an award as one of the top performing states in the country, we have also continued to attract funds in the form of grants to the state. In my first tenure as the governor of Imo State, the sum of $35 million was generated as grants, thereby expanding the revenue base of the state. More importantly, is that this grant from the World Bank is a recognition of our transparency regime in the management of public funds. To God be the glory. May I also use this opportunity to acknowledge and commend the collective contributions of the ministries, departments of government, and agencies whose performance earned us this recognition and grant. Education sector. Education, being the pivot of development in every given society, is the bedrock of human and the material development of the state. This explains why we have continued to invest in the education sector. This is why we have established 2 new tertiary institutions, namely the University of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences and the K.O. Mbadiwe University, recovered as a public institution under our 3R recovery agenda. We also successfully established and upgraded the Imo State Polytechnic, Omuma. It is also on record that we successfully engineered the upgrade of Avani Koko College of Education to a Federal University of Education. This is an upgrade that Imo people have waited for too long for, but it pleased God that it happened under my watch. In addition, the government has provided a conducive learning environment for our primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions to enhance the quality of education. The government is currently recruiting primary and secondary school teachers. In the year 2024, the government will renovate all dilapidated primary and secondary schools in the state and conclude the recruitment and training of teachers for more effective performance. Law and justice reform. The judiciary is an important organ of the government on which the common man relies for justice. Conscious of this, the government, through its Law Reform Commission, carried out an effective and efficient review and reform of the laws of the state. The laws being used, which are the old laws, the laws of Eastern Nigeria, since 1963, Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, were revised. All the obsolete and spent laws have been identified, and the archaic language and aspects of the law that requires amendment have been identified, reviewed, and compiled for further legislative action by Imo State House of Assembly. This will soon come as an executive bill. Also, to reinforce the judiciary, the government has commenced the process of appointing more High Court judges and customary Court of Appeal judges. This process is ongoing. General administration. The administration has demonstrated that the welfare of Imo State public servants is a top priority by prompt payment of workers' salaries and pensions. This government approved and released the promotion of civil/public servants who have suffered stagnation for over 13 years in the hands of previous administration. In order to create an enabling environment for high and efficient service delivery, the administration renovated all the administrative blocks at the State Secretariat complex, rehabilitated the sanitary systems, provided water, and made life in the Secretariat more meaningful. The State Secretariat walkway was completed and commissioned to protect workers, Imo people, from harsh weather conditions and other harmful objects. The government, having the welfare of Imo workers at heart, also announced and have started implementing the immediate increment of minimum wage from 30,000 to 40,000. I wish to emphasize that there is no worker in Imo State Civil Service receiving less than 40,000 naira as of today. Our hope is to further increase the minimum wage with its consequential adjustments as soon as our economy improves. Profile of the 2024 budget. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, having listed some of the achievements recorded by my administration over the last 1 year, permit me, therefore, to now highlight the major policy thrust of the 2024 budget. As I said earlier, the 2024 budget, codenamed Budget of Renewed Economic Growth, which will act as a stimulus to the economy of the state, is quite unique as it will usher in the first year of my second tenure in office as the governor of Imo State. This was made possible by the special grace of God and by the overwhelming support and endorsement of Imo people. Major policy thrust of the 2024 budget. As I have always emphasized in my previous budget presentations to this Honorable House of Assembly, my vision of a new Imo State is predicated on economic freedom, security, and shared prosperity, wedded into good governance. In the year ahead, we will continue to vigorously pursue our vision under the 3R agenda in order to consolidate our achievements and put in place the Imo of our dream, where freedom, security, rule of law, justice, equity, and self-actualization of all and sundry will be guaranteed, coupled with the overall improvement in the socio-economic well-being of all citizens. In this respect, the objective of the 2024 budget has been carefully aligned to the Imo State Development Plan 2024 to 2023 and the medium-term expenditure framework, as well as other sectorial plans and priority initiatives. This is to satisfy the desires of Imo people, which is to promote sustainable economic growth, development, and to promote peace and prosperity. The 2024 budget is also aligned with the 3R reconstruction, rehabilitation, and recovery mantra. The following policies of good government and strategies are to be deployed to realize the above missions. Number 1, participatory governance through open budget process. Number 2, human capital development agenda in education, healthcare services, improved technology and infrastructure. Number 3, growing the private sector and encouraging public-private partnership, efficient service delivery, grassroots development and exploitation of our natural resources, improved security for citizens and residents of Imo State, job creation and massive economic growth through foreign direct investments, and increase in internally generated revenue, IGR. The 2024 budget framework macroeconomic projections. The year 2024 budget framework is benchmarked on the following macroeconomic projections. The Federal Government of Nigeria Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, and Fiscal Strategy Paper. The Federal Government's adoption of oil price benchmark of $94.90 US per barrel, with a daily oil production estimate of 1.1 million barrels per day, and an exchange rate projected at 838 naira per US dollar for 2023. Renewed elevated inflation in most countries, prompting monetary tightening in these economies with inherent negative impact on capital inflow to emerging market economies in Nigeria. Challenging macroeconomic and business environment, the negative impact of insecurity on the domestic economy. We completely have to factor in as much as getting ready and equipping ourselves to fight insecurity, to make sure that all the citizens and residents in the state are safe. Indicators for year 2024. The oil price, which is put at USD $77.93 per barrel, and oil production of 1.1 million barrels per day. Exchange rate 816.96 United States dollars, with an inflation rate of 27.3%. The GDP growth, real, is at 2.51%. State GDP growth rate is 15.6%, and this is the source, the Central Bank of Nigeria and National Bureau of Statistics. The 2024 budget revenue. The 2024 budget has a total budgeted revenue of 241 billion, 2,701,430 naira. The overhead cost in the 2024 budget is 43 billion, 57 million, 826,401 naira, while the sum of 48 billion, 337 million, 363,452 was provided as overhead costs in 2023, representing 7.27% of the total budget estimate. The sum of 15 billion, 743 million, 247,101 naira is provided in the budget as Consolidated Revenue Fund charges. The summary of the 2024 budget, therefore. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, after a careful examination of the present economic situation in the country and the prevailing macroeconomic indices, I hereby present to you a total proposed budget of 592 billion, 234 million, 594,176 naira for the 2024 fiscal year. The budget is aptly christened Budget of Renewed Economic Growth. A breakdown of the 2024 budget shows a recurring revenue. The total recurring revenue for the 2024 budget is 241 billion, 2,707,430 naira, while that of 2023 was 150 billion, 450 million, 189,428 naira. This represents a 60.2% increase in revenue projection. Recurrent expenditure. The total recurrent expenditure, 100 billion, 994 million, 842,135.38, as against the sum of 100 billion, 900 million, 85,427.73 in 2023 approved budget. This shows a 0.1% increase. Capital expenditure. Capital expenditure in 2024 budget is put at 491 billion, 239 million, 752,040.82 naira, compared to the sum of 373 billion, 562 million, 190.839 in the 2023 approved budget, showing 31.5% increase. Sectorial capital expenditure. Economic sector. The 2023 approved capital expenditure for economic sector was 278 billion, 131 million, 684,040 naira, while the amount for 2024 is 370 billion, 91 million, 415,923 naira, representing 33.1% increase. Social services sector. The 2023 approved capital expenditure for social service sector was 33 billion, 566 million, 149,294 naira, but was increased to 50 billion, 582 million, 999,824 in 2024, representing a 42.2% increase. General Administration Services sector. The 2023 approved capital expenditure for General Administration Services sector was 51 billion, 546 million, 98,767. The provision for 2024 under General Administration Services sector is 65 billion 305 million 810,000 naira, representing 26.7% increase. Government transfers. The amount approved for government transfers in 2023 approved budget, capital budget, was 5 billion 259 million 526,824. The provision for 2024 government transfers is at 0% change. In summary, the 2024 capital expenditure is 491 billion 239 million 752,040 naira, representing 83% of the total budget size. The 2024 budget came to a total of 592 billion 234 million 594,176 naira. The 2024 recurrent revenue in comparison with the 2023 approved budget. I have carefully tabulated the differentials in a well-tabulated form for ease of reference and is attached for your perusal. Recurrent expenditure in comparison with 2023 approved budget, also tabulated and attached. The estimated transfer for capital fund is 140 billion 7 million 859,295, or 24% of the total budget. Summary of the 2024 proposed budget size, both revenue and expenditure, is carefully tabulated for your perusal. Capital receipts, internal loans, development partners, grants, direct funding, all tabulated. So the total capital receipts will be, as projected, 349 billion 10 million 773,066 naira. The expenditure for the current expenditure and capital expenditure also tabulated. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House, in conclusion, permit me to once again use this opportunity to thank you for your cooperation and support since you came on board in June 2023. This government under my watch will continue to implement people-oriented and well-thought-out policies and programs that will enable us to achieve extensive infrastructural development, human capital development, increased revenue generation, job creation, poverty reduction, and improved security as components of good governance for the development and overall well-being of the citizens of Imo State. Having laid a formidable foundation in the last 4 years, we remain focused, and our resolve is unchecking as we move with the right momentum into a phase of renewed economic growth. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House, I thank you so much for your time. Let me use this auspicious occasion to once more extend my profound appreciation to all honorable members for your warm disposition towards the executive arm of government. You have always demonstrated both wisdom and an uncommon patriotic zeal in relating with the executive arm of government, particularly in the expeditious manner you have always handled executive bills. This budget estimate I will soon lay before you is first among all executive bills. I am confident that you will do the same needful by accelerating its passage into law so that it can become operational by January 1st, 2024. It is our hope and plan to run a budget cycle that will start by January 1st and ends in December 31st. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the occasion of this budget presentation further presents me with a unique opportunity to extend once again my profound gratitude to Imo people for their resounding vote of confidence on my administration through the massive votes for me in the last November 11th election. I shall remain forever grateful to all of you for this real show of love and solidarity by making me the first governorship candidate in Imo State to win in all the 27 local government areas of the state. You have written my name in gold. You have written my name in gold, and I thank you. I also know that to whom much is given, much is expected. I want to assure you that I will not disappoint you. If you are impressed with our performance in the last 4 years, then I can confidently tell you, in the famous American slang, that you aren't seen nothing yet. I want to assure you that in the next 4 years, I will stop at nothing to ensure that I will actualize the new Imo of our dream, where prosperity, job opportunities, and peace shall reign. I expect that the ongoing dredging of Oguta Lake or rush to the Atlantic Ocean would materialize within this period, and I know it will come with abundant opportunities for job creation and economic growth. Let me also use this opportunity to appeal to the few unrelenting detractors still around to bury their hatchets and sheath their swords. If with the outcome of the last election and the outcome of the latest Supreme Court matter, they still cannot see the hand of God in all of this, then it must be that they are in deep slumber. As the scripture says, there is time for everything, time to laugh and time to cry. The elections are over, and it is time to govern. Let us join hands as brothers and sisters and make Imo State great again. Imo State is the only state we can call our own. Together, therefore, we should defend this proud heritage of ours. The new Imo State under my watch shall truly remain the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Let us give her all the support at our behest. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House, it is now my pleasure and privilege to humbly lay before you the 2024 budget estimates of 592 billion, 234 million, 594,176 naira for your kind consideration and expeditious passage into law. Thank you very much, and may God bless all of us. Thank you. Thank you.